welcome to another episode of Job Jumper Journeys. I'm your host, Aaron J. Yancey, and I have my father here, Lester Yancey Sr. And today is actually his birthday, so happy birthday, Pop.
Happy birthday.
So he's 62 years old, and we've been kind of talking about his retirement from Ford that's coming up. And so it's kind of sparked me to go ahead and do a little episode of Job Jumper Journeys in the usual format, where I usually talk about what his childhood was like, what his parents did, what did he want to be when he grew up, what are some of the jobs he had as he grew up, and how it led to what he's doing now. And then we'll kind of switch it up toward the end because he's coming toward retirement. So kind of ask him just a real simple question, like, what is like this one idea that you would like to do possibly when you retire, just for fun, to make money, or just however you want to do it. So anyway, without further ado, so Pop, what was it like? What did your parents do? Even though I know the answer a little bit to this, like what kind of work did your parents do growing up?
My father, he was basically a supplyman with the federal government in Norfolk Navy shipyard, and basically he wanted to go. He was in school to be an electrician. And,
he did that after the Army, right?
Yes, after the military.
He did. Do you remember how many years he did in the military?
I know there was drafted. The draft was for 2 at the time, but I'm not sure exactly how many years he actually served.
Okay.
In the Korean conflict, but he basically did. After the military, he was going to school to be an electrician, and then of course he had to stop that because he had so many kids coming too fast, and so he ended up just becoming a supplyman there in the Norfolk Navy shipyard, and that's where he did all these years. And,
in Norfolk?
No, it was Portsmouth, even though they call it the Norfolk Navy shipyard.
Okay.
But he was in Portsmouth located, and he did all his years there until he retired. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, basically, and with the kids, and just did the domestic things within the home. And so basically, and of course, for a little while, she worked for a church and done nursery work in the church, and then she worked in some of the community homes, cleaning. And so,
in the neighborhood, or
not too far. No, it's in the other, the other neighborhoods.
Just cleaning houses.
Yeah, cleaning the houses. It wouldn't be our neighborhood. It'd be the other people's neighborhood.
Oh, the more wealthy people.
More wealthy people to make a bit more money, right? And so she had to find means to try to, I guess, supplement income, to help out my father.
Did she sell food or anything like that too?
No, I never seen her sell any kind of food or anything.
Just cleaning.
Just cleaning, cleaning within homes, and then, like I say, she had a little nursery job she did on Sundays for this church.
She got paid for that?
And she got paid for that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And then on Saturdays, when did Grandpa actually start, like, being a pastor? Do you remember? Was it around the same time he started working on the shipyards, or? I'm
not sure exactly, but I do know that I was told that it was against his own wishes to be a pastor.
Oh, he didn't even want to be a pastor?
No.
It was just because my great grandfather was a pastor. He had to.
Basically, it was put on him to, he was told that he was a shepherd boy, and then shepherd boy is one who leads the choir during the time of serving, marching. And then from there they exalted him to being an elder. But that wasn't something what I was told, wasn't something he personally wanted to do.
But he took it on.
But he took on those charges of being an assistant pastor to my great uncle.
Was that at the same little church in Pewsville?
Yes, a little church, which was from a sort of like a barracks put up on the property that my great grandmother Betty Spence. She had all that property was hers, and so the church sat on her property. and whatever she gave to her son Evangelist Johnson for his house, and then she gave a lot to my dad to put his barracks. That was a barracks that was brought there from the military. A single house, basically.
The home that y'all grew up in.
The home we grew up in, 1 bedroom. All the girls slept in the living room. The guys slept in what was supposed to be the dining room.
It was 9 of y'all, right?
It's 10 of us. And really it was 11, but we had our sister George that died. That was the one that died of leukemia. She was born after I was. And so basically, and then we had the kitchen, and that was it. No indoor plumbing.
Hold on a second. You said 11.
Yes.
But she was a stillborn?
Basically, she died. Yeah, her blood dried up, so it was leukemia. I guess leukemia.
As a baby?
As a baby.
Oh, wow. Did they name her?
Yeah, her name is Joyce Angela.
Joyce? Oh, okay.
Yes, and so...
Wow. So it's technically 11.
Right.
Wow. And so, what were some of the things that you wanted to do that you thought about doing?
Well, basically growing up, you heard about like your firemen, you knew about your doctors, your lawyers, and all of that. And I think I was aspiring to one time to thought that I wanted to work in the medical field. But that was basically, that's what that was, just something I thought about doing.
Is it something you saw on like TV or?
Yeah, basically, that's part of the thing. They ask you, what do you think you want to be, a fireman or policeman or whatever? And I just thought maybe, in the medical field for me.
Like a doctor or?
Yeah, maybe a doctor or something like that.
Interesting.
But knowing, not realizing at the time that, that the foundation as far as those things of achieving those, being able to accomplish and achieve those things was not put into place. Matter of fact, it wasn't really even discussed for furthering your education. So,
did you have like a school guidance counselor
Yeah, you had school guidance counselor.
They kind of help you.
But again, if the foundation is, you find out that if the foundation is not within the home, and if you don't hear any of those things discussed within your own home, there's some people that even despite what maybe goes on in the home, that they're still able to seek out, the school counseling and the guidance counselor and all of that. But for some reason, those things just didn't register. At least not with me. With my other siblings, I'm not sure what happened, what could have happened with how their outlook or their view on it. But for myself, personally, that stuff none of that registered with me concerning furthering your education.
Now, when you said, I think it was around high school, right before you entered the military, right? Weren't you planning on trying to work on computers or go to some tech school?
Well, basically, there was at the time, the era was changing and they was moving into the era of computers.
Because this would have been in the 70s?
This was in the early 70s.
73, 4, something like that.
And this gentleman from some tech school or whatever was going to offer for me to go away to study and to learn, computers. And
you remember the name of the school?
No, I don't remember the name of the school. But again, that wasn't something that was agreed upon as far as my mother or my father.
Where was
father.
it? It was in because you were in Virginia, so where was it? Was it like far away or?
It had some distance to it.
Like Philadelphia or New York?
I'm not sure. I can't even remember exactly what the name of the school or where it was located at the time.
But it was too far away and not in the plans.
Apparently, it wasn't something that they had knowledge of. It wasn't something they was willing to try or take the experience and let me be able to go to pursue.
Did this guy talk directly to your parents, or did he?
He talked directly to my father.
Oh wow!
So, but
and then
apparently they were not in a place where they even discussed. They, like I said, further education and all that wasn't something that was even discussed in our home. So I'm not even sure how I even become how I was sought out for this thing. But in a way, the opportunity availed itself, and my parents wasn't ready for me to take that opportunity, so I wasn't able to pursue it.
Did you ever like have a conversation with Grandpa? Like, did they say it was like a money thing, or just the fact that it was? Did he tell you a specific reason why he didn't think?
No, there was no specific reason.
And you never like said, "Dad, I really want to do this," or
No,
you just kind of just said, "All right, I go."
You can just go along with whatever it says to be done at the time.
Now, did you so then how did you end up this after your senior year of high school? How did you end up deciding on going to the military?
Basically, after high school, I was not again prepared to know exactly what it was I was supposed to do after high school. So, but I was assisted by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Edwards, who was able to get me a summer job with in the Coast Guard building with the Coast Guard doing a summer job.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of me doing that job, I was able to find the recruiter's office, and I ended up wandering in the recruiter's office, and that's how I got recruited into the Army. Because I had no idea what I was supposed to do after high school. And so that's how I ended up.
There was a recruiter's office at the Coast Guard?
Yeah,
where
within the
your
Coast
job?
Guard building on a separate floor, lower floor, second floor that I worked on, I think on the fourth floor. And I used to deliver the mail and did press work that was done from the print shop. And I used to deliver the print, or the press, the copies and things that was done in the press shop.
Like brochures or
whatever the Coast Guard had going on at
whatever print items. Interesting. So you went in, wandered to the office, and it was just an Army recruiter, or was there like Air Force or
No,
other?
it was an Army recruiter.
Okay.
And
was there other branches there though that you thought about?
No, I didn't really even think about other branches. I just happened to wander in that particular one at the Army, and that's where I ended up getting drafted in, and then before I knew it, I was on my way to Petersburg.
Did you before that? Did you have to take like an ASVAB test, like all that?
Yeah, you had to take an ASVAB test.
Do you remember what your score was? If you did pretty well on it, or
I did average. But did score enough to be able to get in.
Yeah.
Maybe not your qualified high-tech jobs like technicians and maybe the medical field and all of those other stronger areas. So it was more or less a score enough for supply, because that's end up being supply.
Did they offer you like multiple jobs? Like say, hey, there's 3 or 4 options here.
No, they just went from that score and just said, this is what you score for. And usually, because I'm conditioned that way to just take whatever was given to you, then you just accept that. Nothing to where you thought for yourself to know what it is you really want to be or what you want to do. You kind of like just learn to accept things the way it's given to you.
Now before you shipped out, did you have a conversation with Grandpa?
No, again, at this point, you weren't told or you wasn't discussed what you were supposed to do after you finish high school or whatever. But then you're afraid to even discuss and talk things over because you weren't developed or conditioned how to talk and communicate with your parents. So therefore, it's like it was happening, and it was like a last minute thing telling him. It wasn't like something.
So this is after you got in, you took your test,
yes,
you got your job,
and I was on my way to Richmond to take the physical.
And you're about to go off the MEPS and all that.
Right.
And then you called them later or something like that?
I don't even remember when it was that I told them, but at some point I did tell them that I was going in.
After you already had been sworn in?
After I had already been in.
So
apparently, again, that behavior was as a result of knowing that, I guess, being rejected from going away to school.
You didn't want him to shoot down your...
Didn't want to shoot that opportunity down.
Do you remember him saying anything positive after you got in, or
no?
Saying anything
negative? There was no one, none of my family members that come to my graduation after a graduation ceremony for once you graduate from boot camp. Then from boot camp you move on to your technical side, which was in Richmond, Virginia.
No, before that. So you you shipped out to Richmond.
Yes, we shipped out to Richmond. Done the MEPS and got it all sworn in and everything.
And then where'd you do your basic training?
In October, I left. I finished my summer job and went from June, July, and August, September, and then went in the Army in October. Reported to Fort Knox, Kentucky, where I done basic training.
So this would have been 1975, October 1975. Oh, wow.
I graduated in June of 75.
And so you went off and you did basic training for what, like, how long was that? Like
6 to 8 weeks, I believe it was.
And what was that? What was that like?
That was a awakening experience. Again, going through the motions of things, not fully understanding life, but out in life, but not fully understanding. And just going through the orders, the emotions of it, and found it to be a decent experience. Learning things, I was quick to absorb and learn things pretty quickly and pick them up. But still, again, not knowing how things really flowed and how they connect to the real world.
So it was a eye-opening experience being, what was the city one more time?
It was Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Oh, wow.
I've done basic training, and then left there to go to Fort Lee, Virginia, is where I did my basic
tech training.
What they call it, AIT. Annual training.
After your basic.
After basic, yes, and that's where I did my training there, and it was pretty decent. And then from there, my duty station was Fort Hood, Texas. And I started out with the 1st Cavalry Division, and then later on I was able to go to 2nd Armored Division. I had 2 Brigade 75 tours to Germany. You went for 6 months at a time, and I spent that time there. They call it reforgery training. It was basic cold weather training. It's long before Desert Storm and all come along.
Being able to.
And so basically that was a real good experience, up there in Wild Flicking, or Bill Flicking, as they used to refer to it as, Germany. And so I had those 2 6 months. First one I enjoyed, 6 months I enjoyed, and then you had the option if you want to. They had back-to-back units going, so if you went from your unit, if your unit just come back, you can go get into another unit that was on its way to go back to Germany. And that's how I ended up back to another 6 months tour.
So if you did it from 75 all the way, you were in there 12 years?
No, I had a break. I had a break in service. I was in the Army from October 75 to 78, to August of 78. It's when I had a break in service. Again, I then went from back to Virginia after I got out of the Army in 75. Went back to Virginia, tried to go to school at Tidewater Community College, and I was working with Skippy Peanut Butter, which is where they produce peanut butter.
Just working on like the line or something like that?
Yeah, assembly work. And then I later from that decided that I relocated from decided I was interested in trying to rejoin being with Angela after we had broken up. And so I ended up relocating to St. Louis in 79.
So 79.
And from 79 to August of 80 is when I married.
When you got married to Mom. Okay.
And I was 23 at the
and
time.
Then that's when you were working at like Ralston Purina, or?
Well, I had several different jobs.
Just a bunch of different eyeglass places.
Yeah, Friedman Optical, Ralston Purina, Monsanto. Monsanto was my real decent job I had.
Paid pretty well for that time. How much did they pay back then?
I I
You
think I
remember?
was getting maybe 9 something an hour or whatever.
Which is pretty good back then.
Yeah, it
Decent.
was decent with benefits.
And what do they have you doing there?
Then, more or less, some more of the same thing: stock and control,
Okay.
supplies, ordering supplies,
Kind of what you
stocking
did in
them.
the military.
Yeah, basically along the lines of what I did in the Army.
And at that time, did you start to think about like a long-term career or something? Or you just
Basically,
kinda...
again, not knowing that, not having no idea to how you filtered or fit into the outside world, where they talked about careers, talked about long-term range goals and jobs and things of that nature. It's just basically the mentality is you get a job and you just work and just work and work, and that's it.
So then you're like, what made you decide to like, I'll just do the Army again, a second go
I
around?
ended up having to go back in the Army again because I had made the choice of leaving Monsanto, resigning from Monsanto, giving my notice of resignation and resigning from there, because at that time I had had a spiritual encounter.
Is this before you had Wayne? Yeah, because Wayne.
Right now, this was after.
Because 82.
It was after
Yeah.
Wayne was born, because I was married in 80. Wayne was born in 82.
And so then
And so doing this whole process of this spiritual encounter or awakening was rising and pursuing of that brought me to a place where I thought I was supposed to resign from Monsanto and go to Virginia, and hopefully something was supposed to arise as far as spiritual,
being like a pastor out there,
working, or somehow or another working in along those lines in the church somehow. But it didn't. It fizzled out. It didn't pan out to whatever it was supposed to be. I was involved with my cousin Charles at the time. He was acting as a pastor. But again, it didn't work out. So I was basically end up going back to St. Louis, trying to get reestablished. And once doing that, that's where Monsanto, they didn't rehire me. So I ended up having to go to Freedman Optical and done that for a while until I was able to restudy for the test to re-enter the military, and went back into the Army in trying to remember, it was 80, let me see, it had to be 86, I believe it was.
86 is when you finally...
I believe it's somewhere around there. But anyway,
right before it, I was born in 87. So.
Right, because, well, it was 80 something. It was in the 80s, early 80s. And ended up got stationed back at Fort Hood. And then as soon as I was there less than a year, I come down on orders to go to Germany. And so in Germany, that's when you was born, in 87. Because I had a 3-year tour there in Germany. And basically, then after that tour, that 3-year tour ended, I ended up back at Fort Hood again. And at that time, Angela had gone back to school and got pursued her degree in accounting, and wanted to pursue that degree in the accounting field. So I ended up having to do an early out because they did a buyout of overstrength MOSs, or job skills. They had an overstrength, and so the Gulf War.
They had enough people already?
Well, yeah, it was overstrength. More than enough people for those particular jobs. There was only certain jobs that they did it for. And it was the Gulf War that had kicked off, and it was shortly after that they offered those
the buyouts.
The buyouts.
So you got out, and then...
So I got out and basically just relocated back to St. Louis and was able to get started with Ford in 94.
How did you...
ever since.
Was it cousin Christopher that helped you get on the Ford?
Yeah, it was cousin Christopher that he was already working with Ford. He had also initially had worked with Chrysler before.
Yeah.
But he then was working at Ford at the time.
And he gave like a reference.
And he was able to give me a reference to get in with Ford.
Oh, nice. So you're there, you've been there 23 and a half years now?
Right now, 25 years.
25, yeah. 25 and a half. Just about.
Yeah.
And so, now that you're coming up on retirement, have you kind of had any idea or thoughts about
Well, basically,
something you like to do?
having to think about retirement. That's what it is retiring. And a lot of people say, well, a lot of times they pick up other jobs and just go from doing one job to doing something else. But I'm looking at maybe to work and support shelters or something like that, just to be able to have something to get out to do in the week or during the day, to go help at a shelter or something.
Like a homeless shelter?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be real nice. Yeah. Well, yeah, this has been good. Interested in hearing a little bit more of the details of how you arrived at, the progression of getting it Ford, working at Ford, and everything that led up to that in the background. So, yeah, this has been a good interview. So, we can go and say bye to the people, Pop.
All right.
And until next time, we'll do another episode of Job Jumper Journeys. I'm gonna try to put you to work too. Eventually, we're gonna try to do some kind of project together, you, me, and Wayne. So, but all right, thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a good day, good night. Take care.